Hello everyone. So I've made a few videos covering the artifact system and specifically about what are the optimal ways to approach leveling up artifacts and using the rather limited resources we have available to what is a rather large amount of available artifacts. Now, if you're not a heavy spender or a whale, then you're going to run into a situation where you have to definitely prioritize where you spend your hard-earned resources in order to get the most out of your artifact system. While most people do understand that the ultimate end game that everyone is aiming for is to just have everything maxed out, this is obviously over quite a long timeline and no one is expecting to have that accomplished in a short time period. So, with that said, based off our own testing and as well from information that we've acquired from top players in the other versions of the game, I've put together the most optimal way with your available resources in mind and with the best approaches to your overall progression speed and what benefits not just your damage output but your actual rate of progression through the game, as there are some artifacts that are not just there to buff your stats but actually offer tangible benefits and ways to increase the ability for you to get additional resources from other systems in the game. So, here is the best approach. The first thing you have to do, above all else, let's open the artifact system. So keep in mind you have two separate power-up systems. In the artifact system you have resonance and star-ups. There's a lot to consider when it comes to resonance because not only about the additional effects you get from resonating the artifacts, but as well when it comes to the artifact bond system. As you can see here, there are additional stats that are quite significant that you can get when you get a certain number of artifacts to certain resonance thresholds. Now, before we get into it, one thing that I want to say that is something to keep in mind is always go for the newest artifact draw location. So I'll just show that quickly. Here, even if you're missing some from the old place or from the volcano, from the dark moon of the volcano, you should always pull from the most up-to-date location that you have available, because this is always going to be the most optimal approach to getting the most beneficial artifacts for your progression. So even if you're missing, say, you're missing one legendary from Dark Moon, it's not worth it to go back and continue pulling. The same way it's not worth it in your story progression to try to go, in your rift progression to go back and clear old rifts because you're missing a piece from an older set. It's the same approach. You want to always go for the most up-to-date artifact region that you have unlocked and pull artifacts there. Now, with regards to resonance, which is what this video is all about, the best approach is going to be a multi-tiered approach because you're going to want to achieve certain milestones in a particular order before you progress to moving on to the next one. So the first thing you're going to want to do above all else is get every single artifact you have. Every single artifact you have in your entire list to +4. Get everything you have to +4 first, and then after you accomplish that, after you accomplish getting +4 and all the artifacts you have, then you're going to go into your artifact bond and you're going to check and you're going to go through every single artifact that you have unlocked that has a bond here, and you're going to get all of these to +6. So the next step in the process after you get everything to +4 is to go through here and go through every single one of these artifact bonds, and just because you can, what's nice about this, so you don't actually have to say, okay, so here's sequel, then I go to the vault, let me look for sequels. If you're in the artifact bond menu, you can just click on each artifact and resonate them directly from this menu. So you can just basically prioritize when you're in the state of progression where you're going to be focusing on your artifact bonds. You can just stay in this menu and scroll down and see whatever you're missing. Now, I myself, as a whale player, I have been pushing to +9 on some of these, but all we're doing right now for the optimal progression, after you get all artifacts to +4, then go through and get all of your artifact bond artifacts to +6. Once you have all your artifacts here to +6, then the next thing you're going to do is get all of your extra resource artifacts, i.e. the ones that increase the rune fragments that you can get, the rune characters that you can get, the ones that increase cat bonus, etc. All of those types of artifacts that increase the resources that you can acquire. I don't even know if I can pull one up here. Here, like even something as simple as this. In Rifts, when obtaining crystals, there's an X percentage chance to obtain an additional one. All of these artifacts that give a resource benefit, gold income, energy gain, anything like that, prioritize getting all of those resource artifacts to +9 first. Focus on getting those to +9 because you're going to get additional benefit of those additional resources, which is so important. It's so important and adds up so much more than the additional stats you're going to get from powering up like more determination or more mastery or more attack, more defense. This is all secondary to the number one benefit of the artifact system, which is getting these additional resource gains through all the various artifacts that boost those systems. Like here, Wind Catching Bag, for example, this is one of the ones I was looking for. When gathering treasure hunting energy, there's a 17% chance to double the amount. This is huge. When you're collecting artifact energy, when this procs, you have a lot more energy to work with, and this is really beneficial. So after you prioritize, get all artifacts to +4, then get all your artifact bond artifacts to +6, then get all your resource gaining artifacts to +9, and then after that, the next step will be going back into your artifact bond system and getting all of your artifact bond artifacts to +9. So the next step after getting all your resource artifacts to +9 is to get all of these to +9 as well, because then you're going to get the +9 resonance effect, which as you can see here is significant. Damage dealt +2%, damage resist +2%. Whenever you see percentages here, percentages are bread and butter because they really are the best way to increase your character's performance compared to flat stats. So percentages, damage dealt percentage is huge, attack percentage is huge. These are all really, really beneficial stats to have. So after you get all of your artifacts in the artifact bond system to +9, then you're going to go back to your resource generating artifacts like the wind bag we just saw, wind catching bag we just saw. You're going to get all of these to +10. Once you get all of your resources to +10, then eventually the distant future goal is to then have all of your artifacts reach +10. So that's the goal. That's the approach that is the most optimal way to get all your artifacts leveled up and not just benefit your character's damage output, which I'll be honest, when I made my previous video about how to optimize your artifacts, it was from a perspective of character stats. What artifacts you prioritize to increase your character's damage output or defensive abilities. But with this, we're focused more on how do you improve your actual resource usage to benefit your entire progress. How do you benefit the speed at which you gain resources, which then in turn increases your ability to power up your character even more and more. And this is the best approach. And again, let's go over it in summation so you have the all-in-one go without any breaks. Priorities when it comes to your most optimal way to level up your artifacts. Step 1, get all your artifacts to +4. Step 2, get all your artifact bond artifacts to +6. Step 3, get all your resource artifacts to +9. The next step is to get all of your artifact bonds to +9 as well. And then go back to your resources and get your resource artifacts to +10. And then after that, go back and get all of your artifacts to +10 in the distant future. Because obviously to get every single artifact to +10 is a long-term project, but at least using this approach, you're going to have the most optimal way to supercharge your character's progression along the way. So there you have it. That is the best approach when it comes to leveling up your artifacts. I hope you found this little guide helpful and know how best to approach your artifacts moving forward, so you can make the most of the resources that you can acquire and not waste them in an unoptimal way. So there you have it. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. So join the Discord as well. I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.